My friends, there comes a time in life when we must wake up to the truth because ignorance is the greatest enemy of progress. Many of us have been trapped in a cycle of pain, frustration, and emotional manipulation, not because we are weak, but because we have allowed ourselves to be deceived. There are people in your life who are not there to bless you. They are there to use you. They do not love you. They love what you do for them. They are not interested in your success. They are only interested in how they can benefit from your success. These people are called narcissists, self-centered, manipulative individuals who thrive on control. And let me tell you something. You cannot fix a narcissist with kindness. Some of you believe that if you just love them more, they will change. If you just forgive them one more time, they will see the light. But let me make this clear. You cannot heal someone who refuses to acknowledge they are sick. You cannot help someone who refuses to see their own deception. Let me ask you, how long will you allow yourself to be used? How long will you sacrifice your own peace for someone who does not value it? How long will you stay in bondage, believing that love means enduring suffering at the hands of someone who refuses to change? Too many people believe that kindness is the answer to every problem. They think if they just love more, forgive more, and show more patience, the other person will change. But let me tell you something. Kindness does not change a narcissist. It empowers them. A narcissist is not like the average person. They do not see kindness the way you do. Where you see love, they see control. Where you see forgiveness, they see permission. Where you see second chances, they see an opportunity to manipulate you again. Some of you have been trapped in toxic relationships because you believe if you just keep being good to them, one day they will recognize your value. You keep serving, keep sacrificing, keep giving, hoping that one day they will see your heart and finally appreciate you. But hear me today, a narcissist does not change because of kindness. They use kindness to continue their deception. You cannot negotiate with someone who does not care about truth. You cannot reason with someone whose only goal is to maintain control over you. The more you give, the more they take. The more you bend, the more they demand. And every time you allow it, you are not making them better. You are making them bolder in their manipulation. Let me ask you a question. How long will you continue to pour into an empty cup? How long will you keep investing in someone who only drains you? How long will you keep believing that if you just endure the pain long enough, they will suddenly change? My friends, you must wake up. Some of you are holding on because you believe it is your responsibility to fix them. But you cannot fix what refuses to be healed. You cannot change what refuses to be corrected. A narcissist does not see themselves as the problem. They will always make you the problem. And as long as you keep trying to prove your love by enduring their abuse, they will never stop. You think you are showing strength by staying, but let me tell you, the real strength is knowing when to walk away. The real strength is knowing when enough is enough. The real strength is recognizing that you deserve to be treated with respect, with love, and with honor. Stop believing that if you just give them more, they will finally change. Stop believing that your kindness will break their pride. It won't. If anything, it makes them more confident in their manipulation. They believe you will never leave. They believe you will always take the blame. They believe you will always apologize, even when you are the one who has been wronged. And let me say this. God never called you to be used. He never called you to be a slave to someone else's brokenness. Yes, we are called to love. But love is not blind tolerance of abuse. Love is not ignoring the truth to keep the peace. Love is not making yourself smaller so someone else can feel powerful. Some of you are in relationships where you are constantly second-guessing yourself. You feel like no matter what you do, it's never enough. You feel drained, exhausted, and emotionally depleted, yet you keep trying because you think if you just show a little more kindness, things will get better. But they won't, because a narcissist does not change when they are given love. They change when they are held accountable. You cannot heal a wound by pretending it's not there. And you cannot help a narcissist by giving them more access to your heart. They do not need more of your kindness. They need less of your presence. The time has come to stop excusing the inexcusable. Stop waiting for them to change. Stop believing that if you just keep loving them, they will finally see your worth. My friend, they already see your worth. That's why they are using you. The only way to break free is to stop feeding the cycle. Stop explaining yourself to someone committed to misunderstanding you. Stop proving yourself to someone who refuses to value you. Stop sacrificing your peace for someone who is only invested in their own power. You were never meant to be a prisoner to someone else's ego. You were never meant to be a servant to someone else's pride. You were created for more than this. And if you keep giving your kindness to someone who only takes advantage of it, you will never have enough left to give to those who truly deserve it. The time to break free is now. There are people in your life who do not love you. They love what you do for them. They do not value your presence. They value your obedience to their demands. They are not interested in your heart. They are interested in your submission to their control. A narcissist does not value love. They value power. Many of you are stuck in toxic relationships, thinking that if you just love them enough, they will finally see your heart. You believe that if you just keep giving, sacrificing, and serving, they will eventually recognize your worth. But hear me today, a narcissist does not respond to love. They respond to control. They do not care about how much you give. They care about how much they can take. They do not care about your feelings, your pain, or your sacrifices. They care about whether you are still under their control. And every time you try to reason with them, every time you try to appeal to their heart, you are playing a game you will never win because they do not think like you. A narcissist does not seek connection. They seek domination. They do not desire love. They desire obedience. They do not engage in relationships to build others up. They engage in relationships to feed their own ego. And as long as you keep believing that love will change them, you will continue to be their victim. Let me ask you, how many times have you apologized for something that wasn't your fault, just to keep the peace? How many times have you forgiven them, only to have them repeat the same behavior? How many times have you gone out of your way to show them kindness, only for them to take advantage of it? And yet, every time they hurt you, they never take responsibility. Instead, they make you feel like it's your fault, like you weren't kind enough, patient enough, or loving enough. But let me tell you something today. It is not your fault. A narcissist is not interested in fairness. They do not care about mutual respect. They are only interested in winning. And as long as they can convince you to keep trying, to keep explaining, to keep proving your love, they win. Some of you have spent years of your life trying to earn the approval of someone who will never give it. You have tried everything, changing yourself, making yourself smaller, walking on eggshells, just to avoid another argument, another manipulation, another moment of emotional exhaustion. But let me tell you this, you will never be enough for someone whose only goal is to control you. You see, love and control cannot exist in the same space. Where there is control, love is absent. Where there is control, trust is destroyed. Where there is control, manipulation is the foundation. And some of you are mistaking control for love because you have been conditioned to believe that their behavior is normal. But hear me, it is not normal. It is toxic, it is destructive, and it is not your responsibility to fix. You cannot love a narcissist into change. You cannot be patient enough, kind enough, or forgiving enough to make them see your worth. Because the truth is, they already see your worth. They see your kindness, your love, your loyalty. That is why they are using you. That is why they are manipulating you. That is why they are keeping you close, only when it benefits them. A narcissist does not stay in your life because they love you. They stay because they love what they can get from you. The moment you stop serving their needs, they will discard you like you never mattered. And some of you have experienced this firsthand. The moment you started standing up for yourself, setting boundaries, refusing to be controlled, they became distant, cold, even angry. That is not love. That is control slipping away. And today you must decide, how much longer will you allow yourself to be controlled? How much longer will you keep handing over your peace, your joy, and your identity to someone who does not value it? It is time to stop playing their game. Stop explaining yourself to someone committed to misunderstanding you. Stop trying to prove your love to someone who only wants to keep you trapped. Love should never feel like bondage. Love should never feel like walking on eggshells. Love should never feel like constant exhaustion. You were created for more than this. And the moment you recognize that love is not something to be earned, but something that should be freely given and reciprocated, you will walk away from anything that does not honor you. The time to break free is now. Too many people believe that forgiveness means allowing someone to continue hurting them. They think that if they just keep giving chances, one day the person will change. But hear me today, forgiveness without boundaries invites continued abuse. Some of you have been trapped in toxic relationships, not because you lack strength, but because you have misunderstood love. You have mistaken tolerance for grace. You have confused patience with self-destruction, and you have been told that to forgive means to endure, but that is not true. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. It is releasing bitterness so that it does not consume you. But forgiveness does not mean allowing repeated betrayal. It does not mean staying in an environment where your peace, your self-worth, and your dignity are constantly under attack. Some of you have forgiven the same person over and over again, and yet nothing has changed. They keep lying, they keep manipulating, they keep breaking their promises, and each time they tell you, "I'm sorry, I'll do better," but they never do. And yet you keep hoping, you keep waiting, you keep excusing their actions because you think that's what love requires. But let me tell you something, love without wisdom is dangerous. If you continue to forgive without setting boundaries, you are not showing love. You are giving someone permission to destroy you. A narcissist does not learn through kindness. They do not change because you gave them another chance. They thrive on your forgiveness because it allows them to continue their manipulation without consequences. Let me ask you, how many times have you said, "This is the last time," only to find yourself in the same situation again? How many times have you told yourself, "Maybe this time they really mean it," only to be disappointed? That is not love, that is self-betrayal. There comes a time when you must stop expecting a different outcome from the same pattern of behavior. If someone continues to hurt you after you have expressed your pain, they are not sorry, they are comfortable. They know that no matter how much damage they cause, you will always take them back. And as long as you continue to give them access, they will continue to take advantage. You must decide, how many more times will you allow yourself to be deceived? How much longer will you keep excusing behavior that is killing your spirit? True forgiveness does not mean allowing yourself to be abused. True forgiveness means you release the bitterness from your heart, but you also establish the boundaries necessary to protect your peace. Some of you believe that if you just endure long enough, one day they will change. But let me tell you, a person who refuses to acknowledge their wrongs will never change. And as long as you keep tolerating their actions, they will never feel the need to do better. Some of you are afraid to walk away because you think it makes you heartless. You think it makes you unkind. But let me remind you, you are not responsible for fixing someone who refuses to fix themselves. Your love will not cure their pride, your patience will not heal their toxicity, and your forgiveness without boundaries will only keep you trapped in a cycle of pain. You cannot build a healthy relationship on broken trust. You cannot heal when the same wound keeps being reopened, And you cannot thrive in an environment where your kindness is seen as an opportunity for control. So today, I challenge you. Stop confusing forgiveness with unlimited access. You can love someone and still walk away. You can forgive someone and still protect yourself. You can let go of the hurt, but also refuse to be hurt again. Some of you have been waiting for a sign to move on, and this is it. Enough is enough. If they truly valued you, they would not have to keep apologizing for the same behavior. If they truly loved you, they would not keep breaking your trust. And if they truly wanted to change, they would have done it the first time they saw your pain. So stop waiting for what will never come. Stop believing that one more chance will finally make them different. Stop expecting integrity from someone who has only shown you deception. You were created for more than this. And when you finally choose yourself, when you finally set the boundaries that honor your peace, you will realize that losing them was never the loss. Staying was. The time to break free is now. Too many people have been conditioned to believe that love means enduring suffering. They think love is about sacrificing themselves, tolerating pain, and staying in relationships that break them. But let me tell you today, love is not manipulation, sacrifice, or slavery. Some of you are in relationships where you are constantly walking on eggshells, trying not to upset the other person. You are always apologizing, even when you have done nothing wrong. You are constantly giving, yet you receive nothing in return. And every time you try to express your pain, you are told that you are the problem. That is not love. That is manipulation. A narcissist does not love you for who you are. They love you for how much they can control you. They do not value your presence. They value your compliance. And as long as you continue to sacrifice yourself for their comfort, they will continue to take advantage of your kindness. Some of you believe that if you just hold on a little longer, things will get better. You think that if you just love them enough, they will change. But let me make this clear. Love does not transform a narcissist. It empowers them. They do not see your sacrifices as love. They see them as weakness. They do not respect your patience, they exploit it. And as long as you keep giving more while receiving less, they will never stop. Let me ask you, how many times have you sacrificed your peace, your joy, your dreams, and even your self-worth just to keep the relationship going? How many times have you put their needs above your own, believing that love means losing yourself? That is not love. That is slavery. Some of you have been trapped by the idea that love requires endless sacrifice. You have been told that if you just endure the pain long enough, one day it will all be worth it. But real love does not demand your destruction. Real love builds you up. It does not tear you down. Love is not a burden you must carry. Love is not a prison where you must suffer in silence. Love is not a game where one person always wins and the other always loses. Some of you are afraid to leave because you think it means you are giving up. But let me tell you, walking away from manipulation is not quitting. It is choosing freedom. Walking away from toxic love is not failure. It is choosing self-respect. Walking away from someone who demands your sacrifice but never reciprocates it is not selfish. It is wisdom. You cannot keep destroying yourself just to keep someone else comfortable. You cannot keep setting yourself on fire just to keep them warm. And you cannot keep pouring into a relationship that only drains you. Some of you believe that staying proves your loyalty. You think that if you just hold on, you will finally earn their love. But let me ask you, why should love be earned? If love is real, why must you keep proving yourself? If they truly loved you, why do they only seem to care when they feel like losing you? A narcissist will keep taking as long as you keep giving. They will keep manipulating as long as you keep allowing it. And they will keep treating you as less than you deserve as long as you keep believing you deserve nothing better. Let me tell you this. Real love does not make you question your worth. Real love does not leave you feeling empty, drained, and defeated. Real love does not demand blind sacrifice. Love should feel like peace, not pressure. Love should feel like growth, not exhaustion. Love should feel like security, not survival. Some of you are waiting for a sign to move on, waiting for the moment when they will finally change, waiting for proof that you have done enough. But you already have your answer. If love is real, it does not require you to lose yourself in the process. So today, I challenge you, stop believing that suffering is proof of love. Stop thinking that if you just give more, they will finally treat you right. Stop sacrificing your peace, your happiness, and your dignity for someone who only values what they can take from you. You were never meant to carry the weight of someone else's selfishness. You were never meant to live in a relationship where love feels like bondage. And you were never meant to sacrifice yourself for a person who refuses to honor you. Love should never feel like losing yourself. And the moment you realize that, you will stop settling for anything less than what you deserve. The time to break free is now. Too many people believe that if they just love someone enough, they can heal them. They think if they just stay patient, understanding, and forgiving, they can fix whatever is broken inside that person. But let me tell you today, you cannot heal someone who refuses to acknowledge their deception. Some of you have spent years trying to fix a person who does not even think they need fixing. You have poured out your love, your energy, your time, and your tears, believing that one day they will finally see what they are doing. You have explained, you have reasoned, you have given them every opportunity to change, but nothing has changed. And do you know why? Because the narcissist does not see themselves as the problem. They make you the problem. A narcissist will lie, manipulate, betray, and hurt you, and then convince you that it was your fault. They will dismiss your pain, invalidate your feelings, and twist every situation so that you end up apologizing for the harm they cause. And the more you try to show them the truth, the more they resist it, because accepting the truth means losing control over you. Let me ask you, how many times have you tried to make them see what they are doing? How many times have you sat them down, shared your heart, and expressed your pain, only to have them turn it against you? How many times have you thought, maybe if I explain it differently this time, they will finally understand? But they never do, do they? Instead, they dismiss you. They gaslight you. They make you question your own reality. And that is not love. That is deception. A narcissist does not want healing. They want control. They do not seek truth. They seek power. And as long as you keep trying to change them, you are wasting your energy on someone who has no desire to change. Some of you have convinced yourselves that they are just misunderstood. You believe that deep down they are good. And if you just love them the right way, they will finally open their heart. But hear me today. You cannot help someone who refuses to be helped. You cannot heal someone who does not even admit they are sick. And you cannot fix someone whose only goal is to keep you trapped in their cycle of manipulation. Let me tell you what happens when you try to heal a narcissist. At first, they will pretend to listen. They will act like they are considering your words. They may even apologize. But do you know what they are really doing? They are studying you. They are learning what words make you stay. They are figuring out how to manipulate you better. And just when you think things are finally changing, they go right back to their old ways because they were never changing, only pretending. Some of you are exhausted because you have been carrying the weight of a person who does not want to be free. You have been trying to rescue someone who enjoys their power over you. You have been trying to build a future with someone who is only invested in themselves. And it is time to wake up. You were not called to fix someone else's deception. You were not created to spend your life convincing someone to be honest, to be kind, to be faithful, to be loving. Because love should not require persuasion. Truth should not require a debate. And change should come from within, not because they fear losing you, but because they recognize their own need to grow. Some of you have stayed in toxic relationships, not because you are weak, but because you are hopeful. You keep telling yourself, maybe this time they really mean it. But how many more times will you believe that lie? How many more times will you allow yourself to be deceived? Let me tell you something. You cannot make a blind person see if they choose to keep their eyes closed. You cannot lead a person to the truth if they are committed to living in a lie. And you cannot heal someone who refuses to even admit they are broken. So today I challenge you. Stop wasting your love on someone who only uses it as a tool to control you. Stop trying to rescue someone who keeps pulling you down with them. Stop believing that if you just try harder, give more, and stay longer, they will suddenly wake up and change. Because the truth is, they won't change until they decide to. And that decision is not your responsibility. You were never meant to be a prisoner to someone else's deception. You were never meant to waste your love on a person who refuses to be honest with themselves. And you were never meant to break yourself in an attempt to fix someone else. The time to break free is now. There comes a time in life when you must stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You must stop trying to justify your feelings, your pain, and your worth to someone who only listens to manipulate, not to understand. Some of you have spent years in relationships where you are constantly trying to prove your love, defend your actions, and explain your pain. Yet no matter how much you say, no matter how clearly you express yourself, it never seems to matter. Because the truth is, a narcissist does not listen to understand, they listen to control. A narcissist does not engage in conversation to seek the truth. They engage in conversation to win. Their goal is not resolution, their goal is domination. They twist your words, deflect responsibility, and turn every conversation into an argument where they emerge as the victim and you as the offender. And the more you try to explain yourself, the more they distort your reality. Let me ask you, how many times have you repeated yourself, hoping they would finally see your heart? How many times have you tried to clarify your words, thinking that maybe they just didn't understand? How many times have you thought, if I just explain it differently, they will finally get it? But they never do. And do you know why? Because they are not trying to get it. They are not interested in your feelings. They are not invested in the truth. They are only invested in maintaining control over you. Some of you are emotionally drained, not because you lack strength, but because you have spent too much time trying to make sense of nonsense. You have wasted too much energy trying to reason with a person who does not reason in good faith. You have exhausted yourself trying to defend your reality against someone who is determined to rewrite it. And it is time to stop. You do not need to keep explaining yourself to someone who has already made up their mind about you. You do not need to keep defending your character to someone whose only goal is to break it down. And you do not need to keep proving your love to someone who only sees it as an opportunity to control you more. A narcissist thrives on your confusion. They want you to second guess yourself. They want you to feel uncertain, unstable, and insecure. Because the moment you start questioning your own reality, they gain more power over you. Let me tell you what happens when you stop explaining yourself. At first, they will try harder to pull you back in. They will provoke you, push your buttons, and create situations where they expect you to react. Because the moment you react, they win. The moment you start defending yourself, again, they have regained control over the conversation. But the moment you refuse to engage, the moment you decide that your peace is more valuable than their approval, everything changes. Some of you need to stop giving them what they want. Stop letting them bait you into pointless conversations. Stop letting them trap you in endless cycles of arguments that lead nowhere. Stop thinking that if you just find the right words, they will finally see your side. Because the truth is, they already see it. They just don't care. They are not confused. They are not unaware. They are intentional in how they twist your words, how they shift blame, how they make you feel guilty for even having emotions. And every time you try to explain yourself, you are giving them another opportunity to manipulate you. You must learn to walk away, not just physically, but emotionally. Some of you have left toxic relationships, yet you are still arguing with them in your mind. You are still trying to figure out what you could have said differently, what you could have done better, how you could have avoided the conflict. Stop it. You do not need to win an argument with someone who was never arguing in good faith. You do not need to prove your worth to someone who was never looking for it. You do not need to make someone understand your pain when their entire goal was to ignore it in the first place. When you stop explaining yourself, you reclaim your power. When you stop justifying your boundaries, you protect your peace. When you stop engaging in battles that were designed to exhaust you, you finally start to heal. So today, I challenge you. Stop explaining yourself to those who do not want to understand you. Stop defending yourself to those who only seek to tear you down. Stop looking for closure in a person who was only ever interested in keeping you trapped. You do not need their understanding to walk away. You do not need their validation to choose yourself, and you do not need their approval to be free. The time to break free is now. There comes a moment when you must accept the truth. You cannot save someone who is committed to destroying you. No matter how much you love them, no matter how many chances you give, no matter how hard you fight for them, if their goal is to control you rather than cherish you, they will never change. Some of you have spent years in a battle that was never yours to fight. You have given your heart, your time, your energy, your patience, and your prayers to a person who only sees your kindness as an opportunity for manipulation. You have endured lies, betrayal, emotional games, and endless cycles of false promises, all because you believe that one day your love would be enough to change them. But hear me today. Love does not transform a heart that refuses to be changed. Love does not force a person to be honest. Love does not make a selfish person suddenly become selfless. And love certainly does not prepare what a person has no desire to fix. Some of you have mistaken your endurance for faith. You have convinced yourself that staying is a sign of strength, that holding on is proof of your loyalty, that if you just love them harder, longer, and deeper, they will finally realize your worth. But let me tell you something. Love does not require you to suffer indefinitely. A narcissist does not want to be saved. They do not want to heal. They do not want peace, because peace means losing control. And their greatest desire is to keep you under their power. They thrive on your pain. They feed on your uncertainty. They keep you in a state of emotional exhaustion, because as long as you are tired, you are easier to control. How many more times will you believe their empty words? How many more times will you allow yourself to be deceived by false apologies? How many more nights will you cry yourself to sleep hoping that tomorrow will be different? Let me ask you, when will you finally believe what their actions have been telling you all along? A narcissist does not love you. They love what they can get from you. They love the way you excuse their behavior. They love the way you sacrifice yourself to please them. They love the way you blame yourself for their wrongs. And as long as you keep giving them access, they will keep using you. Some of you are afraid to walk away because you believe it means you have failed. But let me tell you, the only failure is staying where you are never valued. The only mistake is believing that a person who has hurt you repeatedly will suddenly wake up and love you correctly. The only regret you will have is the years you wasted trying to save someone who was never willing to change. You cannot make them see your worth. You cannot force them to respect you. You cannot convince them to be who you need them to be. You can convince them to be who you need them to be, because love should not require convincing. Some of you keep saying, but I know they have potential, but potential means nothing if a person is not willing to grow. Potential does not excuse toxic behavior. Potential does not erase the damage they have caused. You cannot fall in love with potential while ignoring reality. The reality is they have shown you who they are, and you must believe them. You must wake up and realize that staying in this relationship is not an act of love. It is an act of self-destruction. That saving them is costing you yourself. that as long as you continue to fight for them, you are losing the fight for your own peace. And what good is love if it destroys the one giving it? So today I challenge you. Stop fighting for someone who would never fight for you. Stop giving chances to someone who only uses them as an opportunity to hurt you again. Stop breaking your own heart in an attempt to fix someone else's. You were never meant to live in bondage to someone else's brokenness. You were never meant to become small just to make them feel powerful. And you were never meant to sacrifice yourself for a person who refuses to see your worth. Let them go. Not because you stopped loving them, but because you started loving yourself more. The time to break free is now. The greatest mistake you can make in life is believing that love requires your suffering. That patience means tolerating disrespect. That kindness means allowing yourself to be used. But today, I want you to understand, real love does not demand your silence, your sacrifice, or your self-worth. You cannot heal a person who enjoys hurting you. You cannot fix a relationship that is built on lies and control. And you cannot keep pouring into someone who only knows how to take and never give. There comes a moment when you must choose yourself, when you must walk away, not because you stop caring, but because you refuse to be a prisoner to someone else's selfishness. And I want you to know you are strong enough to walk away. You are valuable enough to demand more. You are worthy of love that does not leave you broken. So make the decision today. Stop being kind to a narcissist. Stop waiting for them to change. Stop explaining yourself. Stop justifying their behavior. Stop believing that if you love them enough, they will finally see your worth. You do not need their validation to move forward. You do not need their apology to heal, and you do not need their permission to be free. The time to break free is now. And when you do, you will realize that the greatest love you ever needed was the love you give yourself. Good luck on your journey to freedom, peace, and self-worth. May you never settle for less than you deserve again. Thank you.